Factions are coming back in Destiny 2 in a really big way, and I think Bungie has learned a lot from the Dead Orbit, New Monarchy, Future War Cult days and the faction rallies, and it seems like they're really making the best version of this system and the deepest version of the system that we have ever seen, and I'm so excited for it. So if you don't know, I was recently flown out to Bungie to play Renegades and, you know, give some of my feedback, but mostly record some gameplay and share it with you all. And you know, parts of Renegades I like, parts of it I'm not really sold on, but one thing that I think Bungie absolutely has nailed, and I'm so excited for, is the Lawless Frontier. So this is the expansion activity, but when I say that, a lot of you are going to think about like, oh, Wellspring from Witch Queen, or the Civ from Edge of Fate, but it's so much more than that, guys. Like, it's really hard to convey how complex in a good way this system is, and how many like overlapping currencies and gameplay systems and kind of like just things for you to buy into that this game mode has, the Lawless Frontier, and it makes me so excited, which is why I'm giving it its own video, because it's quite complex in a way that we really haven't seen in a long time in Destiny. I mean, this kind of, to me, harkens back to like when Gambit was first released, and especially in Season of the Drifter, where it's like Gambit Prime and the Reckoning, and you know, they had their own game loop and unique rewards and factions kind of with the Drifter that you had to care about and that sort of stuff. I'm not saying that this is like Gambit per se, but I'm saying it's like its own isolated ecosystem of smaller activities and gameplay systems that continually play into each other in a really awesome way. And that makes me excited, because we do not get that a lot in Destiny anymore. The Coil kind of had it, Onslaught kind of had it. I guess you could maybe say the Nether had it, but not really. The way this works and plays into itself is amazing. So I'm really excited about that. But how does it work? Like, what is the Lawless Frontier? So essentially, there are 3 main factions that you can pledge to. So you're able to switch between them, so you're not like stuck with one. Very similar to like New Monarchy, Dead Orbit, Future War Cult. We don't know much about their like internal lore yet, but we do know their aesthetics, so we can talk about that. So you have the Pikers, which are the pink and blue Fallen. You can, you know, interact with them. You can talk to some of their representatives within Tharsis Junction, the new social space. And every faction has like a set of unique rewards that you can grind for. So they have unique Renegade abilities that you can unlock by leveling them up, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. Renegade abilities, by the way, way better than Kepler abilities. And like there's no ball, okay? There's no ball. So they have unique abilities. They have unique upgrades for your Praxic Blade or your lightsaber. They have unique guns that they like specifically drop a ton of if you have like a specific gun that you want from the expansion. And they have unique cosmetics that you can grind for as well. So like I said, the Pikers are the pink and blue Fallen. They're pretty cool. Tharsis Reformation are the Vex with clothes that everyone seems to really like. They have some awesome upgrades as well. And then finally, you have my favorite, the Totality Division, which has the coolest name and the coolest aesthetic. They are red, black, and gold, and they look absolutely just so super sexy. I don't know what they believe in or anything, but they look the coolest, so they're definitely my favorite. So I'm really curious though, like out of these 3, just from this, which of these 3 is your favorite? Let me know down below. But I encourage you to go Totality Division because they are the coolest. Anyway, so you can pledge to these factions, and this will kind of start the whole system. So if you go to the screen of Lawless Frontier, there's just so much information here, and this is really like representative of how complex this system is. So first off, Bungie, talking directly to you, when we have been saying that the portal lacks soul and that it's not fun to click boxes, this is exactly what we are talking about. Look how beautiful this screen is. Look how much information is displayed here so efficiently. This feels like Destiny. This is amazing. This is what we want instead of the portal screen. We want this. It doesn't have to be all the main director. It can be offshoots of the main director. But look how unique and beautiful this screen is. This screen tells you a lot of different information. So on the left side of your screen, you have different contracts that you are running. They're essentially like bounties for your different factions. So it'll say like, hey, go run jobs where you are fighting members of other factions, for instance. Or, hey, go do specifically these types of jobs. And there are three main types of jobs. You have smuggling jobs where it's a lot of like picking things up and dropping them off at points and fighting through waves of enemies and stuff like that. You have the bounty hunting jobs, which are just like killing a bunch of stuff, really. And then you have sabotage jobs. I don't really know how this is possible because we played like 4 hours of Lawless Frontier. I don't think I did a single sabotage, so I'm not really sure what those are about. I imagine blowing stuff up, but I don't really know. That's my bad. It's a hectic 2 days, okay? I do my best, but there's these three types of jobs that you can do, and everything is communicated to you through these different icons on the screen. So you can see on the bottom right, you have a legend that show the different types of jobs on top, the different factions that they represent on bottom. That one that's like gold is the faction you are currently pledged to. So you can see I'm pledged to Totality Division because they're the best. And then if you look at the icons, there are at any given time at least 4 different activities that you can do. Really, it's actually 7. We'll talk about that here in a second. But there are 4 activities and they rotate every 15 minutes. So if there's a certain type of job that you don't like or you don't want to fight against a certain type of enemy, you wait 15 minutes and it will be completely different, which is amazing. And so you can also see there's some of these have these like little blue symbols off to the right of them. That means that these specific activities directly would give me progress towards contracts or jobs that I need to complete for the Totality Division for extra rewards. You will also notice that some of them have this little yellow border. That means that invasion is active in those specific activities. We'll talk about invasion in a little bit, but for right now, we're just going to focus on the PvE only activities, those 3 that you can see there on the top. They don't have the yellow border, which means you go in, you will literally only be fighting the types of enemies that is represented in the icon, right? The final thing on the screen that you need to know is that once a day you are given a priority contract, and you can complete these by doing the objectives within the red icon on the right of the map here, the contested territory. These are a little harder. They have invasion always activated, but whenever you complete them and complete your priority contract, it will give you a large boost of reputation for your chosen faction. What does a run of the Lawless Frontier even look like? We have now spent 7 minutes talking about the setup. What is the run? So it's pretty standard Destiny, I would say, with a lot of extras in it. Basically, every run you load in, you're in a hangar. There's going to be a shank in front of you. You walk up to the shank and you can pick 2 of your renegade abilities to take into this run. So do you want a drop pod that will, drop on enemies and spawn you a ton of ammo? Do you want to drive an ATST this run? Do you want a drone that will instantly give you all of your abilities, including your super back? Do you want to be able to make a huge Vex rumble cube that blinds and shocks enemies inside of it? There is so many different gameplay combinations that you can pick here, and it all starts at the beginning of your run. Whenever you pick your abilities, you get into the ship, and once all of your team is in the ship, it'll load you into the activity itself. And there will be a series of mini objectives. And usually how this goes is mini objective, 1 big objective, mini objective, 2nd big objective, and then you exfil. Then you do a little defense thing, and you leave. There are also a lot of extra things, but it is important to say, I forgot to mention this, every run, of this activity is 15 minutes, I would say. It's a pretty standard, maybe slightly longer than average Destiny activity. It's got some pretty good length to it. But while you're completing it, it's not just doing the mini and big objectives. There's also a ton of extra stuff. So there are secret bonus objectives that you can come across, kind of like Onslaught. So you can see here, I notice a little waypoint marker, and I go to this thing that you can see, a weird device. And I have to shoot these red panels to destroy it. There's also ones where you have to capture circles, and when you do these, you get a ton of extra loot. You get ammo, you get Renegades charges, which allow you to use your Renegades abilities more, and then you will also get these lock boxes that drop. And these lock boxes, you can see on the side of your screen, it says extractable. And what that means is whenever you complete the activity, when you deposit these lockboxes, you will get extra of whatever they drop, whether that be dark matter ingots, which is a currency that you can use to level up your factions, could be credits, which is another currency which you use to buy things from your factions, or sometimes you can even get armor or weapons lockboxes and you will get additional pieces of loot. I also want to notice that a lot of the loot in this gameplay is dropping at like tier 3. Bungie did say that that would be changed by the time this came out and you would be getting higher tier loot from this activity as well. So I did want to mention that. Not only do you have these optional objectives, there's little pots around the map that you can break. Sometimes they give you like health orbs or ammo, things like that, sort of like the coil. There are chests all over the place that will give you extra loot, sort of like the nether. And then there's just like a lot of exploring to do, which is really cool. And any one of these given runs, you're completing 2 small objectives, 2 large objectives. You might be fighting off invaders, which, like I said, we'll talk about in a little bit. You're completing like all of these bonus objectives. You're finding chests, you're finding destination materials, you're finding extra credits, and like all of these things just make the game mode feel incredibly well thought out and very deep, which is awesome. Because we have not been able to say that about a new game mode in Destiny in a very long time. It makes me very excited. So that's like the basis of the activity itself. There's a lot of other stuff in there. I want people to kind of discover some of that for yourselves, but that's the basis of like a run of the Lawless Frontier. Now let's talk about invading. You can play game modes where you are doing the PvE thing, and sometimes if you click on one of the yellow border ones on the map once again, you will get invaded. And this means that someone will come and try to stop you from messing with their faction. So how this works is when you get invaded, the invader has 3 lives. You kill them, they respawn, you kill them again, and they are trying to kill you. Their goal is to kill you 3 times, and every time one of you or your teammates die, you will drop a crest, like in Supremacy. Essentially, the invader needs 6 points. They can kill you 3 times and pick up all 3 of your crests, or they can kill you 6 times, or some combination of those things. They have to do that before they get killed 3 times. And if the invader kills you, it's fine. Like, the only reason this really hinders you is A, it can be a little annoying, it can slow you down a little bit, but in higher difficulties of the Lawless Frontier, you have a limited number of revives, and that means that they are essentially draining your lives. And that's actually not that big of a deal. I mean, you get a lot of extra reses during this activity, but also if you fail, like if you run out of revives, you still get a lot of loot. So in this clip, Mactix absolutely trashed on Fallout and Cool Guy on my team. They ate all the reses, and then we ended up failing the run, but we still got a lot of really good loot from completing what we did from this activity. Also, if you stop the invader, you get bonus loot from their dead body as well, which is pretty cool. So it might slow you down a little bit, but it's kind of like a win-win. The other side of this is you being the invader. So when you are playing with the Lawless Frontier, if you're playing activities where invasion is active, occasionally you will get this currency called death marks. Death marks allow you to become the invader. So there's a currency that you need to earn to be able to invade. So that means people can't just only invade or constantly be invading. You have to interact with the entire system, which I think is actually a very good move. When you invade, you can wager 1 to 3 death marks. The more death marks you wager, the better your payout will be if you successfully invade. So if I go invade and I kill 3 people and I grab all 3 of their crests and I wager 3 death marks, I will spend those 3 death marks, but I will get way more loot than if I only wagered 1. However, if I try to invade and I die 3 times and I am not successful in invading, I just lose those death marks, I don't get more loot, and I will have to go grind more out. So it's a true wagering system within Destiny, which is cool. My one critique of this, I will say, this is not like presented to you in a clear way at all. It's hidden in the submenu when you wager. This should really be in that front screen when you're loading up Invasion, or the kind of Invasion playlist. I gave this feedback to Bungie. They heard it. Not sure if they're gonna have time to fix it or anything, but it's just kind of annoying that it's hidden in a submenu and not like explicitly spelled out for you anywhere. So that's something I hope they fix. The last thing that I want to talk about is sometimes when you are invading, it will start something called a double cross. And what that means is you are essentially locked into a 1v1 with another invader. You are not invading someone doing a PvE activity. You are now doing a 1v1 with someone else wagering death marks as well. This is a really cool system. It'll just randomly pop up. It's very high intensity and it goes pretty fast as well. So that's just something to keep your eye out for as well. The only problems I have with this system, I mean, like, overall, the Lawless Frontier is freaking incredible. I cannot wait to lose so many days and weeks playing this activity, grinding out for different rewards and things like that. I think it's going to be so much fun. I do have a few problems. So I was asking some of the devs, Robbie Stevens and Ben Womack, and, you know, those types of people specifically. I was asking them about, like, in-game faction wars or faction rallies and stuff, and they said in-game they have kind of a limited things that they are doing on that front, unfortunately, so far. But it seems like a lot of people were giving the feedback that they were really interested in seeing something like that, so hopefully, fingers crossed, that, you know, they're able to put something in. They did say there were other similar things to that coming that were maybe like half out of game, half in game, so I'm not really sure what that means. I'm not able to expand. Like, they wouldn't really say much about that, but it seems like there's something going to be happening in the kind of faction rally vein. And yeah, I'm excited to kind of see what that looks like, but I would really love for there to be like something in game that's like, hey, for this week, whichever faction has the most jobs completed get some sort of bonus, you know, whatever that may be, sort of like old faction rallies back in the day. Other than that, this system is absolutely incredible. It is so deep. There are so many interconnected systems that make me very excited. If you have any questions, if I did a bad job of explaining anything, please ask them down below. I'll do my best to correct that. If you guys are excited for Renegades, and especially the Lawless Frontier, and especially if you're a fan of the Totality Division, let's go. Make sure to subscribe, share this video with your friends. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love your faces. I'll see you very soon, and have a fantastic day. See ya.